they?
Yes, they are indeed.
Wow. You work with Christopher, didn't you?
Yes.
Yes,
You got stuck too.
Yeah. I didn't. Yes. No, but it is true, isn't it? It is kind of
that is true.
It is true.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, but working with Peter Cushing, Veronica Carlson.
Oh yes, that was. But as Caroline so rightly said, they were our boys. They were, and also our mentors, and also our heroes.
Yeah.
At least up to me, anyway. Definitely my heroes. And they were so different, but so the same in so many ways. They were both enormously, obviously very gifted. They were always extremely wonderful actors. They were always so generous.
Yeah.
They never had a hissy fit or got angry. They were absolutely the most generous. Christopher did an eye line for me because Freddie was standing behind the camera and said, "Darling, this is where you've got to look." And he pointed to the palm of his hand. "This is where you're looking when Christopher finds you." And I thought, "Oh my God, I'm going to act towards the hand. I can't do that." And this deep, lovely voice said behind Freddie, "I will do her eye line." And he stood behind the camera and acted for me. And that was the most wonderful, generous thing he would do.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks of both of them. They were both so generous in their kindness, their patience, and their... oh, go on, you say something.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I was lucky enough to work with them both.
Yes.
And I found absolutely the same. And for me, my turning point was working with Christopher in Dracula AD. That kind of, Had you met him before he put on all the Dracula? No.
This was the thing, wasn't it?
I didn't want to see him. I'd met him before, we chatted before, and I'd sit in doing my knitting, and I'd heard him talk about Transylvania and all the stuff, and we got on really well. That was good. But then we were going to shoot our scene, that particular scene, and it was quite complicated. We had a whole day to shoot it. And that's, when you think about it, there were a lot of different shots and setups. So no, I actually had requested not to see him, that I actually wanted to see him when Dracula was there as himself. So for me, he was Dracula. I believed. I was a total believer, and that was the way I could kind of do it for myself. And Peter, I had no scenes with him in Dracula, but I had the great pleasure of working with him solidly every day for 6 weeks on At the Earth's Core. Not hammer, but amicus. And he was just lovely. Just such a warm and funny man. Just lovely chap, lovely. But Christopher was the turning point for me in my a little bit of belief in myself, because before I'd sort of wandered through things, not really knowing what I was doing. I had no formal training, but suddenly I thought, yeah, I actually, if I dig deep, I can do this. I can believe in this, and he taught me that.
Because Dracula AD 1972 is one of your first films where you have a proper part.
Yeah.
And we talked about this, that especially the scenes, the best scenes are the ones in the beautiful church. And actors of a very diverse background.
Amazing actors.
But it's very intense.
It is intense. I mean,
it's almost like kabuki theatre let loose in there.
It was, because there were no, that's right, that's how it was. And there was not necessarily, Alan Gibson was there, but there wasn't necessarily anything set as such, so we were very much, it was very much an organic-y thing, which was right for the feel of the film anyway. So it was.
Is that when you were left in a hole in the ground?
Yes.
She was left in a hole in the ground. Tell us all about it. Go on.
No, other people haven't done
No. I want to ask you someone, we never talked about Raquel Welsh, because this was an unusual thing actually for him to get someone who was then, she was a big star.
Well, not at that time.
Yeah.
This was her beginning, and she was on the contract to, I think it was 7 arcs, or there was a big contract, and it was basically a sort of a loan out between Hammer and this American thing, and this was going to be her coming out, basically. So she was, I kind of felt a bit, at first she was sort of like just, not wouldn't have anything to do with anybody. But I realised she was sort of last of the studio.
The American Hollywood studio system.
Yeah. The Hollywood system. And she was very much under their thumb, and she had to do what they wanted. And of course there was a part of her that was like really like why, and you know, just like angry about it. But so I kind of had a bit of a heart thing, and I felt for her. But she wasn't happy. She wasn't a happy bunny. She was not a happy bunny about it. But she was perfect. She was perfect in it. There was one wonderful story. We weren't great friends, and unfortunately I fell in love with John Richardson. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, I fell in love with John Richardson, and he did not like her at all. So there was like this sort of like divide. However, when it came to the fight, but we had our own sort of relationship, and when it came to the fight, they'd gotten doubles for us, and we're sitting in our chair. Right, what are they going to wheel out in front of us? And we see these two people come out, and they have nothing, their bodies have nothing to do with us. And we're sitting there looking at this, and we turn to each other and we go, no, absolutely not. And they said, no, but we can't have it because of the insurance, and you know, if you get hurt. And we went, but we're dancers, we can do this. We love to dance, both of us. And so they brought in someone, and they choreographed it, and we turned out a really good fight. And we were very much together on that. I mean, maybe nothing else, but that was a moment when we went, absolutely not, and they let us do it.
And it is a jolly good fight.
It's a good fight. It's a good fight, you know, and we went for it. So yeah. So that was Raquel. That was my story with Raquel. And we were